9 times out of 10, a diet has failed way before you've even started it, and that's simply because of one missing piece of the puzzle. So in this video today, I'm going to show you how you can spend about 10 minutes building one thing out, and it will fix the issue at hand, and it will increase your chances of a successful diet tenfold. So what I'm about to show you now is the exact thing that I built out to help me get ready for a photo shoot and help me lose 30 pounds, and it's also helped me stay within about 5 pounds of that same body weight about a year later. So it works, and it works pretty well. So then let's take a look at the thing that you're missing to put your diet on easy mode. So before you even make a start, you need to know where you're going to begin. Don't go into a diet. I mean, this is what people do, right? People go into a diet and they're like, right, Monday I'm starting my diet, and then Monday rolls around. You've got no idea what to eat, what the calories are, where to begin. Then all of a sudden it's like, right, well, I'm now going to spend the next few days trying to figure out where I need to be. And already you've wasted a bit of time. You've got off to a slow start and your brain goes, oh, here's motivation. Now I'm down here already in a few days. And in my opinion, the first 30 days of your diet are the most important days, because if you don't see any progress or proof of concept that what you're doing is working inside the first month, you will mentally check out very, very quickly. You'll lose trust in the process. You'll think, what's the point? It's not even working. And then bang, I'm done. So this to me is why it's so important to get started properly. Get off to a flyer within the first 30 days, and that will set you up for a successful run going forward. It's all about that first little section. So first thing that you've got to look at before you do anything is how to get started the right way. So what I recommend is something called an assessment week, which basically is like spending a week or so, between 7 and 14 days, just tracking your calories, what you're eating roughly, tracking your steps, and tracking your morning body weight. So it's basically a week of doing what you're doing right now. Nothing changes, but you're just getting a little bit of data to figure out, okay, here's where my rough calories are. Here's how my body weight is responding to that rough amount of calories. And it gives you data to look at to know your next step. So after you've done 7 to 14 days of just tracking your calories, tracking your steps, tracking your body weight, you then need to work out your average calorie intake. So basically, if you've been tracking for 7 days, add up the total for all 7 days and divide it by 7 to get your average. Once you've got that number, you then compare that to how your body weight has moved each day. So has your body weight gone up over the course of the 7, 14 days? Has it stayed about the same? Has it gone down? If your body weight has gone down, you know that whatever you've been eating is your deficit calories. You're in a position where you're going to be burning body fat on that amount of food. If your body weight stays the same, you know you've been eating your maintenance calories, so it's going to stay the same. And if you eat that same amount of calories each day, you'll be in the same position. And if your body weight has been trickling upwards, you know you're in a surplus. And if you continue doing that, you're probably going to keep gaining fat. Let's just say, for example, your average calorie intake for the week was 2,500. Over the week, your body weight remains stable at about 210 pounds. That then means that 2,500 is roughly what you need to stay at about 210 pounds. That is your maintenance calories. So to find your start point, if you've established that 2,500 is your maintenance to stay the same, then you need to take away 500 calories from that number, and that gives you a 2,000 calorie start point of your diet. So once you've got your start point calories, all you then need is to work roughly towards 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. If that is a million miles away from where you currently are, work towards that. Do it in steps rather than going from, if right now you're eating 80 grams per day and you need 180 grams per day, that might be a little bit of a steep climb. So you need to start off by saying, right, first week number 1, we'll go for 100 per day, then we'll go for 120 per day in week number 2, and you build your way up until you get to the point where 180 becomes the new normal. With that being said, if you feel like you've got more than 40 pounds to lose, work towards your ideal body weight rather than your current body weight, because it might just be way too high for what you need. So work towards what you are working towards. Does that make sense? And what I'd also do is, if you are below 10,000 steps per day, I would simply aim to increase your step count by about 50% compared to what you currently do. If you're already doing about 10K, sound, keep it where it is. If you're getting anything less than that, aim to bump it up by around about 50%. So then the next section, it's too warm. It's like 34 degrees in the UK today. I'm melting. So the next section, you can actually follow along with me. I've got a free roadmap template in the description down below. What I'm about to show you now is what you can get access to and build out your own as we go. So imagine you read a book, and when you open it, the further you get into it, the more pages get added to that book. At a certain point, you're going to think, what is the fucking point in reading this book? Because I've got no idea when the end is, and the story doesn't even come to any sort of conclusion. It's just like a never-ending story. So at some point, you put the book down to never be read again. And that is the same when it comes to your diet. If you go into a diet with no idea when it's going to conclude, and at what sort of time frame you can expect to achieve the goal by, you're going to sack the diet in. So let's take a look at the roadmap together. So then what you're seeing right now is what you can get access to for free. So go and download it. It will help you out a hell of a lot, I promise you. So here is what you need to know. You need to know the roadmap. You need to know roughly how long you're dieting for, where you can expect to be at each point, and it gives you just a bit of clarity rather than going into a diet feeling pretty like lost, I guess is the right word to use, because sometimes when you start a diet with no idea where you're heading, it kind of feels like you're looking into the abyss. With the roadmap template, it will give you a recommended breakdown. Now, again, to give you your proper roadmap, I need to know more about you. So this is just giving you what would be probably ideal. So when you're dieting, you can work with anywhere from sort of like probably 8 weeks up to about 20 weeks. Now in the roadmap template, I'm working with 12 weeks and 8 weeks to make it, again, just a bit more like everybody can use it rather than being specific for you. I will use my own example here. So let's say right now for me, my start weight is right now about 170 pounds in the morning. Based on this first 12-week fat loss phase, if I aim to lose about 0.75% of my body weight, which again, you don't need to know these numbers, this roadmap will kind of spit it out for you. I know that I'll be roughly about 156 pounds by the end of it, which for me is probably a bit too low. I know that for me, I want to get down to maybe about 160. So I know by this roadmap, I could probably expect to be at my goal weight within about 6 to 7 weeks. 6, 7. So with that, before I even start the diet, I know clearly, okay, within about 7, maybe 8 weeks max, I'll be where I need to be. So I go into the diet knowing, okay, I've only got to really go hard for 8 weeks. I can do that, that's fine. A big difference compared to saying, right, I'm going into a diet, don't really know how long it's going to last. I'm just going to go into it. Straight away, the mindset's different because I know I've only got 8 weeks. I can easily say no to certain things because I've only got to do it for 8 weeks before I get to where I want to be. Whereas if you don't know how long you've got, how hard is it to say no to things when you feel like in your brain, you've got to say no to them forever? It's pretty hard. Another example, let's say somebody starts off at that 210 pounds and they have the goal to get down to 180 pounds. That is their big picture goal. So based on this roadmap, you can clearly see, right, phase number 1, by the end of phase number 1, a 12-week phase, you could expect to be around about 193 pounds. So not quite where you want to be, but you're getting there. You're getting pretty close. So after phase number 1, a 12-week dieting phase, you then go into a 4-week maintenance phase. Now, the reason that I put maintenance phases in there is to give you a little reset, both physically and mentally. When you've been dieting for, say, 12 weeks, it's a bit of a long time. You get a little bit like stale. Your ability to stick to it starts to reduce because you've been dieting for so long. So you have a little maintenance phase in between where you bump your food back up a little bit. You give yourself time to reset both physically and mentally so that you can go into diet phase number 2 feeling ready. In the same position that you went into your maintenance phase, you now start your dieting phase. So diet phase number 2, you start at around about 192 pounds. And if this person then went into an 8-week dieting phase for phase number 2, they could expect to be around about the mid-180s by the time diet phase number 2 comes to an end. You then go into a 2-week maintenance, staying about the same body weight, but bumping your food up and giving you a bit of time to reset. And then this person could then expect to be within about 6 weeks of their 3rd diet phase, they could expect to be around about 180. So this person knows before they even start the diet, okay, I've got a decent slog ahead of me. I've got probably between June and I'll probably get to my end goal by the beginning of next year. Feels like it's quite far away, but it's broken down into bite-sized chunks and you know realistically what you can expect to be at. This is not gospel. You might do it quicker, might take a little bit longer. You might do it quicker because you've not really got anything going on socially and you can commit everything to this one dieting phase. You might be busy and be traveling a lot, having a lot of holidays, a lot going on. So you might have to then take a little bit of a step back and understand, okay, it might take me a little bit longer, but I'll get there. And I'll know I'll get there in this time frame based on this roadmap. So having something like this to use is crucial to give you clarity on where you can expect to be, how long it might take based on a realistic breakdown. None of this unrealistic, oh, I'll get shredded in 6 weeks bullshit. This is what you can expect to have in front of you from day 1 of your diet. Right, and then the final step, let's get through this because right now I'm baking inside this gym. I'm literally greasy. If you miss this part, in my opinion, you will kiss away months and months of hard work. All the work you've just put in to get lean and lose the body fat in the first place becomes null and void. So how do you avoid that feeling? How do you make sure that what you've just worked so hard to achieve in your diet is actually worthwhile? And you simply spend between 4 and 6 weeks building up your food and going through a reverse diet. So what you want to do really is that once your diet's complete, pretty much from like week number 1, bump your numbers up by about 300 calories. So if your end of diet calories is like 1700, straight away from the following week, go up to 2000. Give yourself a little bit of a boost, nothing crazy, but a little bit of a boost. And then from there onwards, roughly about 100 calories per week, as long as body weight remains stable. Here's a graph as to what you can expect to see. So let's just say in this graph, the person is eating 1,800 calories. Then in week number 1, the second the diet's done, back up to about 2,100. Monitor your body weight as you have been doing through the diet. So making sure that you're still keeping your averages roughly about the same. And then week on week, as long as your averages are staying the same, keep bumping your food. 100 calories, hold out. Let your body weight stabilize. 100 calories, hold out. Over the course of 6+ weeks, you can expect to be eating a considerable more amount of. If you boost your numbers week by week, you can expect to be eating a considerable more. What the fuck am I trying to say? If you boost your food week by week, you can eat more food, basically, by the end of it. To give you a real life example, for me, when I did my photo shoot last year, my end of diet calories are about 1,500. Over the course of an 8-week period, I did this exact process. I increased, I held out, let my body weight stable, increase, held out, rinse and repeat. Over the course of 8 weeks, I took my calories from 1,500 to 3,000, and my body weight went from about 164, 165 to about 167. So over the course of 8 weeks, my food doubled, but my body weight stayed within about 2 pounds. I felt fuller, I felt tighter, I felt bigger, I felt lean. So I went from being deprived and eating low food to eating more food than what I needed and feeling good. So if you put the time in at the end of your diet to spend 6 to 8 weeks doing this, you will sustain the progress that you've made during your diet. You'll feel great and you'll live a happy life. I hope that helps. If you have any questions regarding any of this, please do feel free to comment or send me a message. Free roadmap template is down below. I've also got a 30-day diet playbook where I'll send you an email for 30 days straight, breaking down a dieting phase, a reverse diet phase, and then what to do after the reverse diet phase, step by step, 10 days on each section to give you clarity. So you can download that down below as well. I'm gonna go and sit in the sun for a little bit because I'm sweating. I will speak to you and see you in the next video.